This garden looks so empty to me without all of my huge tomatoes. Especially with all the brassicas that I planted out still being so short, it's just like, it looks so empty. I know it's not, and there will be food soon. But for now, look at these beets. So last week I showed you guys the root vegetables I had direct sown in here, and I had thought that these were beets because this row had not come up yet. Well, this row came up. And I'm starting to think these are beets. They look more like beet seedlings to me because of the purple stem and the leaf type. So I still need to figure out what these are, and I am now kicking myself for the fact that I didn't label any of these. I'm thinking they're the second type of radish that I planted because I swear I planted two types of radish. The first one was the Sora organic seed radish from Johnny's, which is a hybrid that's more heat tolerant. And then I want to say I did the wasabi, but any of y'all watching this can probably let me know because I told you in one of my last videos. So let me know down in the comments because I probably will forget to go back through that video and see what I planted. But along with all the root vegetables I've gotten here, I have some bean seeds that reseeded themselves from when I had beans here at the beginning of the year. And I'm so excited that my carrots are coming up. They're so tiny right now, but if you guys can see these little guys, these are all my carrots. There's a ton over here. They were the last to come up of all of the root vegetables I planted, but they do take a little bit longer to germinate. But my method was successful with the cardboard this year. I am very, very happy about that, and I will have to do a video when I figure out where I'm going to direct sow my other root vegetables. On the last video, I believe we amended the garlic beds together. I still have not planted them. Don't worry, I will not do that without you guys. And I still haven't taken this Bikino pepper out because he is putting off tons of Bikino peppers that I'm still taking inside and dehydrating to make some sort of spice out of. I think it'll be a chicken spice. These Bikino peppers have a really bright flavor that I think would do super well on either a chicken dish or a fish dish. We don't eat a whole lot of fish. I don't mind it. Chase doesn't mind it. I just don't purchase a whole lot of it. But I think as a spice, it would be great mixed with some garlic powder and onion powder to coat my chicken with when I roast my chickens. But we are not doing the garlic today. We are not planting the onions today. They're still pretty small. I could plant them out now. I'd like to wait till they got a little bit taller, and it's still getting pretty warm during the day. So what we're gonna do is plant the former asparagus bean trellises with peas. These are not climbing peas. These are actually a bush snap pea called a sugar daddy. It's a very, very common snap pea. But the seeds that I started were not climbing pea seeds. All of these are going to be sugar daddy peas. I'm gonna put them on the trellis regardless, just because they will vine a little bit onto the fencing, and then they'll just be out of the way because there's nothing else that I would benefit being near the trellis that I have to plant. I've also got some rutabagas. So this is the Marion rutabaga, the deep purple variety that I had a lot of trouble starting from seed. I have 2 of them, and then the other 4 are American purple top, which is the classic rutabaga. I don't know where I'm gonna put them. I'm just gonna throw them in somewhere because I decided not to take out my pepper bed today. I actually came out this morning and did a massive harvest on all of these peppers. So you can see they're pretty much bare. Because I thought that I was going to take these out today and plant onions. But then after seriously considering how big my onions were, I figured I'd just leave the peppers in. They'll give me more peppers in the meantime. And I don't need to take all these plants out of the bed and amend it if I'm not going to plant it right away. I mean, I can re-amend this bed and plant in the onions on the same day. So I might as well leave these pepper plants in and get a few more harvests out of them before it's time to put the onions in. So in the effort of doing one small thing a day that helps me manage my time and get stuff in the garden done, I'm gonna plant my peas, which slightly overdue on being planted. I am excited and worried to see how bad the root systems are. Since they don't love being transplanted, they will tolerate it as long as they're not too big. But let's take a look at what these guys look like. Now I just amended this portion of the bed because obviously I'm not going to re-amend this bed while all of these peppers are in here. But the soil underneath here is also super dry. In order to water all the peppers that I had in here, I kind of had to place my drip system in a way that wouldn't be able to water the trellises. So if you were here with me over the summer, you know that I had to hand water all of my bean trellises because I didn't have drip system exactly to them, and this soil is super dry underneath here. So I am going to have to hand water this daily, at least for the time being, because it's still getting warm during the day once I place these peas in here. But that's okay. I'm excited to maybe have peas. Fingers crossed, because I can never do it every year that I try. But we are going to put the peas right here, and then I will water them in. And I think I'm also going to do the other trellis that is over here. I'm going to put more peas in this trellis though, because the other side of this fence is completely shaded out by my okra. With the changing of the seasons, the sun has been tracking a lot farther south. And look at this bed. It's almost 11 in the morning and it's just completely shaded out by all this okra, which is fine for the peas. They need sunlight obviously, and it will get sunlight once the sun sets to the west over there. But I'm gonna put a majority of them, as long as they're spaced accordingly, in this bed just because it's receiving full sunlight. So let's check out these root systems, make sure they're not root bound. These peas are probably about 3 inches tall. It's an okay size, not too big, not too small. They should survive the transplant as long as they're not root bound. Oh, yay! Look at that. That's not bad at all. Nice, healthy root system that is not twirling around the bottom. So these looks like to be the perfect time to plant these little guys. Well, 7 out of 8 plants fit over here on this side of the trellis. I only have one left, so I think I'm going to put him probably with the other peas over here in this bed. We've got a nice blank space right here. Get this guy out of here. And I can put him right here. And this guy, I think I'll plant you over here in this blank spot. There we go. It seems to always happen when you start seeds in pots and you just have extras laying around everywhere that they just end up in a garden bed. Just sitting, waiting someday for someone to put them in the ground where they belong. And I need to plant that guy because that is one of the cut and come again celeries, the Japanese white, that I need to put in the ground. Because I have never grown celery before. It's always, they require cooler temperatures. And they like cool, wet temperatures, and I just don't have that here in the desert. But this was a cut and come again celery that apparently is a little bit more tolerant of the heat. So we'll get that guy in the ground today while we are planting all these peas. And this one will go with its brothers and sisters in the 1x4 bed. In these 1x4 beds, I started all the peas that are currently in here from seed. Well, I started all my peas from seed, but I direct sowed these pea seeds in the 1x4 beds. So I think it'll be a good experiment, I guess, to see how the ones that I started in pots indoors compare with the ones that I direct sowed in the garden. It'll give me something regardless of how the results turn out, because I've just never had luck with peas. So I'm pulling out all the stops this year to try and finally get some results and finally eat some fresh peas from my garden, because that is one thing I have never been able to do, except in like maybe small amounts, like 3 or 4 pods here and there off of one plant. It's just difficult because it's either hot or freezing during our fall and spring, which we need long-term cooler temperatures for some of these cold weather crops to thrive. So we'll see how that does. We'll see the difference between the direct sown peas and the ones that I just transplanted right now. I hope they both do amazing. I hope they both do great. But if one does better than the other, then that's definitely something to pay attention to and try in the future, or just move to completely in the future. And I have to show you guys something. I saw this yesterday, and I did not tell Chase yet, but he's going to be so excited. Look at this Reaper pepper. Let me get it in the sunlight. It is so wrinkly, it just looks terrifying. It's the only one on this plant. I have tried all year to nurture this Reaper plant. And at the end of the summer season, when it's even cooling off, it's finally starting to flower. And a lot of the flowers are dropping. I'm getting a lot of blossom drop on this California Reaper pepper. But I do have one Reaper fruit. And Chase, this has been his like goal all year, was to have me grow him a Reaper pepper. And there's one single fruit on here that may ripen before we get our first frost. And I hope it does. Even if it's just one, I will have completed the goal and he will be so happy. But it's here. With these cooler temperatures, I've had a lot of volunteers coming up. This looks suspicious. This looks suspiciously like a cosmos seedling. And they're everywhere. I've got tons of little seedlings everywhere. Here and here. That looks like a cosmos as well. And it's a little sad. I'm not going to pull them. They're not doing any harm. They're so tiny right now. But it just takes till the end of the season for favorable conditions to get these guys to sprout, because the seeds have been there all year long. It's just too hot and too dry during the summer that they wait until they're not going to live anymore to take a hold. because the cucumber won't live through a frost, the cosmos won't live through a frost. And some of these seedlings, I don't know what they are. See, I've got one right here. No idea what this little guy is. One might assume it's a basil because of this huge plant dropping seeds, but you never know. And then some more cosmos seedlings here and another little something. Don't know what this guy is. But the only thing I can hope for is that enough seeds stay in the ground over the winter, and come next spring I'll just have tons more little volunteer plants that can grow to their heart's content once we have our last frost. Hopefully. Well, it's getting kind of windy out here, which is nice. The temperature is great. I think it's in the high 80s today. The breeze feels wonderful. But I'm gonna head inside. Well, I'm gonna finish planting this rutabaga, although I don't know where I'm gonna put it. And I'm just gonna take my camera inside because it's about to be blown over, and the last thing I need is to break my camera. So thanks for coming along on this short little video while I plant my peas. I will get out here soon enough and we will plant garlic together. I'm just waiting until it cools down a bit more. The weatherman still says that later on this week the highs will be in the 70s, which is super exciting. It is getting cool and fall is in the air, and I will need to take out these peppers soon. I have difficulty bringing you guys out along with me when I'm doing the same thing every day, either clearing out a garden bed or re-amending a garden bed, and you've already seen all that. So I had something new for you. We're planting peas. Let me know what you think is gonna win, my direct sown peas or my transplanted peas. I hope they both win, but I'm betting on the direct sown ones. They're a bit farther along and they won't have the pressure of being transplanted and going through shock or anything like that. But if you've had a lot of success transplanting pea sprouts, then let me know. I'll catch you guys on the next one.